Hey, it's Coach Justin from Ultimate Baseball Training, and today we're talking about tee work. Now, hitting off of the batting tee is one of the best uses of your time as a hitter. Professional hitters hit off of the tee every single day, and for good reason. You know, it's a great way to iron out your swing mechanics, and it's a great way to get a lot of high quality reps in a very short amount of time. And it's also great because there's very minimal equipment required. You need basically a tee and a bucket of balls and a baseball bat, and you're good to go. Sometimes you might need a net, but you can do it in your backyard, in your basement, in your garage. You can do it at a local field, and you don't need dad, you don't need a coach, you don't need a friend, you don't need a teammate, none of that. Now, it'd be great if you had a choice today to take 100 swings off of the tee or 100 swings in batting practice. It'd be great if you could choose the batting practice route, right? There's nothing that beats hitting a real moving baseball. But what's the likelihood that you can find someone to throw you BP every single day? And so for those days when you can't, go to the field with someone and take real BP, or, just as a way to warm up, there's nothing that compares to tee work. And, let's be honest, if you can't square up a ball on a tee, a stationary object, then how are you going to square something up that's moving? So tee work is absolutely critical. It's great on its own, but today in this video, I wanted to talk about 3 ways that you can take your tee work to that next level. Let's get into it. The first thing that'll really help you take your tee work to that next level is, as often as you can, try to hit at a real field where you can actually see the trajectory of the baseball. Or if you can't hit at a real field, at least try to hit in a batting cage and hit at one side of the cage and spray the ball to the other side so you can see that trajectory, see that ball flight. Where are you actually hitting the baseball? Are you actually squaring it up, or do you just think that you are? Because it's very deceptive. If I was doing tee work right now at an open field, I can see exactly what's going on. But if there was a net right here, 2-3 feet in front of the tee, I might be thinking, man, my swing feels good. I am crushing the ball right now. And in reality, I might be really, getting on top of the baseball or having an around the ball bat path and rolling over. I might really be getting underneath it and hitting a lot of fly balls, but I don't really know if I'm hitting into a net that's right here. So as often as you can, go to a real field and work on, spraying the ball all around the yard, and go someplace where you can actually see the trajectory. Now, I know it's tough, especially on your own. You might have a bucket of baseballs, but maybe no friends or no teammates want to go hit with you. You're just going to go to a field by yourself and hit balls. And my suggestion to you is, yes, you should absolutely do that. Now, it helps if you have some friends that want to go and they want to work on their defensive skills and shag balls and help you out a little bit, right? But if you have no other choice, that's a great way to get a great workout in. You go to the field, you get a bucket of balls, you hit them out into the outfield, right? And then you grab your bucket, you go jog out there, and you pick up the baseballs. And you're jogging, not walking around, you're jogging, making a little workout, getting a little conditioning in, right? Pick up all your balls, come on in, especially on a hot summer day. You're gonna get nice and sweaty, right? You're probably gonna be a little tired, a little fatigued, breathing hard. Then guess what? Then when you put the next ball on the tee and you just went and did all of that work, now you're going to be tired, you're going to be fatigued, and your mind is going to start to go. Now you can actually work on developing a little bit more of your mental game, right? Fighting through a little adversity and performing under pressure even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired. So there's a lot of good that can come out of just taking your tee work to a real field. The next thing that you can really do to take your tee work to that next level is compete with yourself. And what I mean is this, all right? What is the typical hitter's tee routine? You put a ball on the tee, right? You step up to the baseball. Your goal is, okay, I want to have a good swing here, execute a good swing, and I want to square the ball up. And so a lot of times it's belt high, it's middle pitches, and you're just working through a bucket trying to square the ball up. And that's great. That's better than being home on the couch, playing video games. You're out there, you're working, but how can we take that up a notch? And that's where this comes in. Compete with yourself, play different games. And so a few that I really like to do. First of all, try to see how many times you can successfully square the baseball up and hit the ball up the middle. Okay? And if you have a bucket of, 25 baseballs or something like that, right? See how many times can you get 5 in a row that you hit hard line drives, that you square the ball up, not rollovers, not hard ground balls. I'm talking line drives, and can you stay in the middle of the field? Maybe that first time you do it 5 times in a row, and then the 6th time you roll over to short. Well, then step out, take a quick little breather, right? And then try to compete with yourself and say, this time I'm beating 5. I'm beating 5 hard line drives up the middle. This time I'm going to get 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 20, right? See how many times you can consistently hit line drives up the middle. That's one game that you can play. Another thing that's really cool to do is around the world. I'm sure you've played around the world with your friends on the basketball court, right? Where you're working your way around the three-point line, shooting from different areas of the court. Well, this is the same thing, but we're bringing it to baseball. And we're going to start the opposite field line, and we're going to work our way to our pull side foul line and then back. So we're working on our bat control and spraying the ball to different locations. So for a right-handed hitter, your first swing here, you're going to hit it to the opposite field. You're going to try to hit it down the right field line. So you're going to have to hit it a little bit further back here, hit it down the right field line, try to keep it fair. Then you want to hit the ball at the right fielder. Next, the next ball, you want to hit it to right center. Then you want to go to center field. Then you want to go to left center, then the left fielder, and finally finish off with down the left field line. But if you get really good at, making it one way all the way across the outfield, that's going to be tough on its own. But if you can consistently get good at going down and back and really using the whole field, spraying the ball all around, you're going to have incredible bat control and you're going to have a lot of success in real games. So play around the world. The last thing that you can do to compete with yourself, and I'm sure there's a million other things, but this is the last thing that I always really like to do, was situations. So this is great if you have a partner. They can tell you, all right, runner on third base and there's one out. All right, so you have to sit there and think, okay, runner on third base, one out, okay, so that's less than 2 outs. Let me hit a sac fly and drive in this run. So then you can position the tee, maybe inside a little bit, raise it up to a high pitch. You're looking for something elevated. You're gonna hit a deep fly ball. Work on that. Or work on, okay, your buddy tells you hit and run situation. Work on hitting a hard ground ball to the right side. So it's helpful if you have a friend to do that one, but you can even just think about situations in your head. Make sure you hold yourself accountable and try to have even some form of punishment if you don't, knock it out. If you don't hit a ground ball, hard ground ball to the right side, if you hit a rollover ground ball to the shortstop, maybe you do some push-ups, maybe you do a sprint, something like that, but compete with yourself. Always try to get better. And the last tip that I have for you today is to make your tee work game-like. Make it as game-like as possible, right? The more that we mimic what's actually going to happen in a real game practice, the better off in a real game we're going to be, okay? And so a lot of times with tee work, what you see is you see hitters up here just taking swing after. They never step out of the batter's box. They never really make any adjustments. It's just swing after swing after swing, right? And do you do that in a real game? In a real game, 7 swings in 7 seconds. No, of course not, right? And a lot of times in practice, players are rifling 3 balls off of the tee. Now, if you're at practice with your teammates, if it's an organized baseball practice, please don't take, time in between swings. Don't rush through it, but don't take 10 seconds in between swings. You want to be efficient at real practices. But when you're on your own, by yourself, all right, when you take a swing bad, what I encourage you to do is make it game-like, right? What do you do in a real game? You step out of the batter's box. You regather your thoughts, right? Maybe you look towards the third base coach. I hope you look towards the third base coach. Then maybe you have some sort of a routine that you do with your breathing. Right? Maybe you step in first, then front foot, check your plate coverage. That's your routine. We'll take a swing and then work on that routine. Maybe it's every single time you get out of the batter's box, and when you're thinking about the pitch that just happened, you're undoing and redoing your batting gloves to kind of release that pitch. So do that in your tee work. This is a great time to work on between pitches. Okay, so take your time, do that. That's one to really make it game-like. Make it game-like with your routine here, and then also make it game-like when you step in the batter's box. Turn your face, look towards the imaginary pitcher, and then as you go into your load, right, that's when you can kind of shift your focus, your load and your stride. Then you can shift your focus to the baseball. It's going to make it more challenging, but it's going to help you out more in real games. Another thing that you can do might sound kind of funny, but work on taking pitches. All right, too many hitters don't know how to do an aggressive take. Your mentality at the plate should always be yes, yes, no. And the majority of your takes, it shouldn't be looking like you're taking the entire time. Your takes should be aggressive, like you held up at the last second, right? Not a check swing, but you should have aggressive takes. And so work on that, off of the tee. Maybe you don't have to do it all the time, but maybe mix it in every 5 or 10 swings or so, right? Step out, do your routine and everything. And then instead of actually making contact with the baseball, right? Say yes, 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 up, no. And work on your aggressive takes. Because how are you gonna do that in a real game if you don't work on it in practice? And then the last thing that I'll tell you about making it very, very game-like is you wanna work on your weaknesses. You wanna exploit your own weaknesses off of the tee, because the pitchers sure will. When you get into a real game, if the pitchers recognize, hey, this guy, he cannot hit anything on the outside part of the plate. If they start to recognize that, they're gonna exploit that weakness in a real game. So how about instead of that, to take our tee work to the next level, why don't we find out what our own weaknesses are? Why don't we exploit those off of the tee and turn those weaknesses into strengths? So I hope you found today's video helpful, and if you did, then I know you're gonna love the free on-demand hitting training that I put together for you. It's 100% free. It's gonna help you hit the ball more consistently. It's gonna help you hit the ball harder and further. You're gonna hit more doubles, more triples, and more home runs because of it. So it's 100% free. All you have to do to grab it is just click on the link, the very first link that you'll see in the comment section down below. I'll pin that comment and that link for you, so you can just click on that. That'll take you to a page where you can get access to the free on-demand hitting training. So go ahead, do that right now if you're serious about taking your hitting to that next level. And last thing, subscribe to our channel if you're not subscribed already. We're coming out with new baseball videos all the time, in fact, every single week. And if you don't want to miss any of them, subscribe and make sure your notifications are on. Until next time, I'll see you later.